The Spin-off Podcast Network.
This is Kiwi is back for a brand new season with more inspiring kōrero from special guests including rugby player, father and role model TJ Perenara.
My family bring me joy. Rugby brings me joy too, but it's not the same joy as my family brings me.
And global dancer and choreographer Kirsten Dodgen.
For some reason, people think I'm very intimidating.
Listen to the new season of This is Kiwi, brought to you by the Spin-off Podcast Network in collaboration with KiwiBank. Available now wherever you get your podcasts.
Kia ora, I'm Alex Casey, senior writer at The Spin-off. We wouldn't exist without the ongoing support of our generous members. If you're able to, you can make a donation at thespinoff.co.nz/donate.
Oh, there we go. There it is. The Celebrity Treasure Island 2023 supertease. We've just watched it. Welcome along to The Real Pod. This is an emergency episode for us to dissect this little gem that we've got, the little tease as we wait for the proper thing coming to us.
I'm excited. I think that this has a darkness to it, like a level of sort of psychological decay that reminded me a little bit of the Mike King season, but it felt kind of somehow like where that was isolated to this one kind of rogue element. This felt like kind of deep and kind of haunted.
It didn't have a lot of silly in it, eh?
Well, this is what I'm going to call a red flag early on, is that it says that it's going to be the weirdest season yet.
Yeah.
And the teaser doesn't look that weird. And I'm also sort of like, it's a super tease. No one's seen the show yet. Just call it the most dramatic season. Just amp it up. And I'm slightly worried whenever they rely on those kind of wacky
down goggles.
Yeah, the wacky goggles as the weirdness. I'm like, I don't know about this. But there's a lot to love about it. First of all, beautiful.
Yeah.
Lakeside and Wanaka, they've obviously moved to the South Island. They've got a new theme. It's a bank robbery, sort of Western town looking thing. I do have a theory about the stillness of the lake reflecting the lack of drama. I feel like sometimes the island situation and the storms and the crashing waves actually does a lot for the theatrics of the show.
Well, it kind of wears on you, right? But this is weird, right? This is very much a Rorschach test, where you guys watch this and you're like red flags about the drama. I'm watching it and I'm seeing Blair Strang and Eli Mathewson and James Musterpick and just these quite raw, I feel like it might not be as kind of wacky or sort of big, but there might be some just real kind of hard nuggety resentments in there.
Hopefully.
And I'm down for that.
I'm sad not to see. I think, we've been spoilt by having so many beautiful moments from Dame Susie D, and not just the previous season, but the previous two seasons. She obviously makes amazing sound bites and is not afraid to speak her mind. So we didn't see that kind of thing where we were seeing kind of exchanges of words between contestants. Doesn't mean it doesn't happen. Doesn't mean that but to your point, the dudes are the ones weeping here.
Yeah.
It's almost all just the dudes weeping.
And again, Alex, you're right. The South Island, beautiful. Also, even in summer, cold.
Yeah.
The lakes that they're throwing them into. And, James Musterpick, it's not, he's a rail thin fellow. He's going to get real cold in there. There's nothing, I don't know. In your mind, it's hot and beachy, and obviously it's been windswept and freezing for large chunks of it. But this is a different level, I think. Also,
let's not forget when this was filmed. This was New Zealand summer 2023, a.k.a. winter,
Though in the South Island, but
was it
summer,
balmy, was it?
Yeah.
May I share some insights?
Please.
Because I was there. It was extraordinarily hot the entire time. I remember being out, so I watched the first day of filming, and I've got photos of me. I'm dripping in sweat. It was so, because there's, it's so stark. You're just in the middle of these, I don't know, wheat fields, whatever.
Definitely not wheat fields.
Yellow sort of grass, wheat fields. And there's no shelter, anywhere.
Right.
In their camps there are, in the kind of lakeside, but when they're out doing the challenges, it was extremely hot. With that said, also at night there's, less coverage, less shelter. You do see in a lot of the interviews that they're wearing knits and like beanies. So it must kind of turn at some point. But when I was there, it was very, very, very warm. I did also swim in the lake, and it was cold and sludgy.
Oh, sludgy.
I'm saying, those lakes just don't get warm.
Hey, and I have a question for you then, as someone who was there. Is it really quiet? Because,
Yes.
Duncan spoke about the crashing waves. Hard to have a little quiet, secret conversation.
Extremely quiet. It reminded me a lot of, do you remember was it the second season of Survivor that they shot next to a lake in Thailand?
Yes.
And how I just feel like a lake fucks with you.
Yeah, it's brooding.
It's brooding. It's stagnant. It's just weird. It's different. And I think that energy is reflected in the teaser. But there is a lot to love. I mean, there are all these allusions to some mega villain, and it doesn't quite give it away. I mean, it suggests very heavily that it's Blair Strang. But we're not quite sure. I mean, people say, James Musterpick says that made me hate him more.
Right, yeah.
I feel like it's a man villain, but
There's
I
another
could be wrong.
character who's got like a very dismissive.
They can come for me or something.
Yeah, like which was quite enjoyable.
Nicafor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we've heard rumors in the CTI verse from people who are very connected, like Pastor Lum, who are chatting away with people, and I guess current cast who are shedding secrets that they shouldn't be shedding, that there is a mega villain this season. And I don't think it's clear. I honestly don't think it's clear from that promo. I know you name-checked Blair because he has some sort of scroll. I don't know if that makes him, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. We don't know what's on it.
It's a shot, but yeah, like, it's good to not have it revealed, and it's good to know that there is a all-time, potentially the GOAT villain.
Yeah. And what makes someone the GOAT villain? We don't know yet. It's
There's so many ways to disgrace yourself on this show.
Can't wait. I did notice not a lot of Matilda Rice in there.
No, we do get her crying, which is something. Quite a few tears. A lot from Turia Schmidt-Peke, which I think is cool. I think she's shaping up, looks like a bit of a narrator type.
Yeah.
And Tāme Iti, though, as well. on the
Tāme
narrating.
saying he's a dumbass.
Yeah, that's right. But also then the guttural roar is my favourite part of the whole promo, when Tāme Iti just lets out this, and I'm like, why? What is happening? Is it purely in the emotion of a challenge, or is that the build-up of some other shit that's stirring by the lake? This is like the top of the lake version of Celebrity Treasure Island.
It's the New Zealand Gothic. That's true. It actually is. We've also got what looks like Jazz in some sort of like asthma situation. We've got some sort of medical event, which we always, love.
Love it as long as everyone's okay. As long as
I
they're
assume
okay.
she's fine. As long as she was fine. But it always helps. And her saying, the person who beats me is going to get destroyed by the TikTokers. So I'm also got eyes on Jazz. I think Jazz could be interesting. And Laura Daniel.
Yes.
Who looks really angry in one of her interviews and says, "You don't want to see me when I'm pissed off." And like the assumption being, the assumption being that she's not pissed off in that moment.
Also, she had at one point like a full face of makeup, and I'm like, you look amazing for Lakeside Treasure Island. This is incredible.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's fun. I feel weird about it because I don't feel like I can tell what's coming, which is a great thing. It actually means it's going to be almost, like a whole. It feels a bit like a new format, being Lakeside, and I think that's going to be. There aren't too many giveaways in here, and so it's going to be really a very interesting. I feel like intense season. I just hope it's also hilarious. Of course, it will be. It'll be hilarious, won't it?
I'm not bothered. I just want it to be dark and moody. I want to see the breaking.
We simply must mention the juggly eyes, which appear to be stuck on Steve Price's goggles at one point.
Yes.
And we got to ask the question, is that for us?
Look, if Corn doesn't turn up somewhere in this show this season, we've lost our touch. But I have faith. So when does it start? September 18th?
September 18th. It's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday night.
Just days away, really. Just days away now. So exciting. We will, of course, be recapping it in our paid feed of our Substack. Go to therealpod.substack.com. You absolutely want to be on board this train, and we can't wait for the ride to the Western town where there is a robbery in Tāme Iti.
Wheatfields.
And Wheatfields. the strangest town that ever there was. Thank you so much for joining us for this emergency episode. Thank you, Samuel, for recording. And yes, buckle in. It's going to be something. It's going to be something.
Do you find it hard staying optimistic with all the financial news in the media? I'm Tāme Iti, and on my podcast, When the Facts Change, I'm here to help you navigate the ever-changing landscape of economics in Aotearoa. So join the conversation every Friday on When the Facts Change, brought to you by the Spin-Off Podcast Network in partnership with KiwiBet.
Kia ora e te iwi, Te Aihe Butler here, podcast manager at The Spin-Off. If you enjoy listening to our podcasts, consider supporting our mahi by signing up to become a Spin-Off member at thespinoff.co.nz/donate.
The Spin-Off Podcast Network.